Supper, live from Sammy's Restaurant at 202 U.S. Highway 90 East in Castroville. Sports for Supper, a weekly look at what's happening in area sports. And now, along with Maury Stein, Dwayne Garza, and Jeff Stivers, here's the host of Sports for Supper, Jared Lucky.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports for Supper at Sammy's. I'm Jared Lucky, along with Maury Stein and Dwayne Garza. Jeff will not be joining us here this evening. He had something else he to take care of, and so it'll just be Maury and Dwayne here with me this evening. And we're going to have a football coach and some of the football players on. We're supposed to have the tennis coach and some of the players on a little later, and then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about upcoming matchup with Bernie Champion. We'll give you a volleyball update, and then we'll just talk a little bit about maybe some of the college sports, do our picks, and that'll be the show here tonight. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we will come back with our football segment. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we will continue here in just a moment.
This is MVBN, the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley athletics and area youth sports for over 30 years.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Medina Electric Cooperative is sending 3 students on the trip of a lifetime for free. The 2020 Government in Action Youth Tour is an all-expenses-paid week-long learning and leadership event in June that starts in Austin and then takes kids to Washington, D.C. Winners also receive a $500 scholarship for college. The deadline is December 13th, 2019. Apply online at Medina.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, brought to you by Brenda Stein Photography. Brenda Stein is a photographer in Castroville who specializes in graduate, family, and sports photography. With her quality customer service and expertise in capturing the beauty you see in your graduate and family, you'll walk away with an experience to remember. She can even customize a graduate card to celebrate your graduate. Call 210-415-9873 or visit www.brendasteinphotos.com to schedule a senior or family session today. And we're going to go ahead, and we're joined here by Coach. They call you Little Mo, if I'm right. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And give what do you coach on the football team? What's your?
Well, I'm actually the co-defensive coordinator, and I coach the defensive backs. Okay.
And Coach, you're coming off of a loss against Lockhart, but you're moving on. You got Bernie Champion this week. They've probably got this game circled because Medina Valley's beat them the last 2 games in very close games. What are you telling your defense this week going into this matchup with Champion?
Well, exactly what you said. We know that they did circle this on their schedule. They were favored to win the past 2 years, and our guys showed up and played as well as we could play, and by the end of the game we're in it, and we've had some luck in the past 2 years, and it helps. But we've been preaching to them the same thing, that how important this game is to them, because they're probably waiting for us to come into town because they've had to come over here the past 2 years. We're excited and we're ready.
What is their status of their quarterback? I know Boyers went out of the game late the game before, and he played the whole game. Is he going to be at full strength, or?
Well, regardless if he is or isn't, we're preparing like he is. Obviously it's a different offense when he's playing quarterback for them. So, but yeah, we've practiced all week that he's going to play. And then if something happens that he doesn't, then we'll have adjustments for it. But as of right now, we're expecting him to be on the field, and we're going to prepare for their best.
What is the rallying point when your defense the last few weeks, 2 out of the 3 losses have been, by a point, and your defense only give up 10 points. Last week it was a run back that doesn't go against it. What is your rallying point when your defense is playing as good as it is? What do you tell them, hey, guys, we just got to keep it up, and the offense is always what needs to catch up as the season goes on?
Well, I know Coach Moore and I, we always preach perfection, so, we feel like we've been playing pretty well, but we can always do better. I think one thing that we're kind of lacking this season is we're not creating takeaways. We're getting off the field, but we've got to set up our offense for short fields and things like that, and that's something we haven't done this year, and that's kind of what we've been preaching lately, is getting the ball, in prime position for our offense. Other than that, we've played well, but there's places that we can improve in.
I know, Coach. As early as Saturday, you guys were watching film already on Bernie. As a secondary coach, do you adjust per team, or do you keep a pretty generic setup, or how does that work? How do you see that going into each game?
Well, every game's an adjustment, and we don't change everything we do as a whole, but we tweak it here and there for each team that we play against. I know it's a lot on our guys. I know it's a lot on our kids. We got some really smart kids that were able to do those little adjustments to the foundation that we have, but they adjust pretty well. And like this week is it's more of a dual threat type of guy. Last week against Lockhart, he was a brand new quarterback, and he was a bit of a dual threat guy, more of a runner. This week is a little both, so each week we got to prepare differently, and that's kind of what it is this week.
We've seen a lot of the spread offenses, so that really puts a lot of pressure on your cornerbacks. Can you talk a little bit about how that they're able to handle that, or what's going on with the cornerbacks as they're out there, because of the spread offense?
Yes, sir. The best way I can describe it is that our guys, they play on an island a lot. A lot of time teams that we play against, their corners get safety help. Ours don't. Ours play out there by themselves, and it's a game-long thing. That's what I tell them. Tanner Beer's been playing for me for 4 years now as a corner, and he understands that about, you're going to have some ups, you're going to have some downs playing corner by yourself out there on an island, and the best thing to do is just having a short memory and responding in the best way when things go wrong.
Yeah, against spread offense, you got to assume that every once in a while they're going to get one on you. You just got to stay focused and get ready for the next play, and I guess that's kind of what you preach out there, and hopefully it keeps them motivated.
Yes, sir.
Coach, when you look at your season so far, and it hasn't been the best start, but there's a lot of positive things happening. You've adjusted the penalty thing that got adjusted, and now you're almost virtually, you didn't have many at all in that last game. What are you guys telling the players just kind of in the locker room to keep their morale high?
Well, the main thing is this season's not over. It's not even close to being over. That's the main thing. Yes, we've had needs to say we've had a little rough start, but the main thing is this is early, and we got a lot of football to play. We did eliminate the penalties. I think the next thing is just we've got to get back to playing simple football and, number one, creating takeaways and not turning the ball over. And that's been the message all week long. So if we can take care of those two things, I think we're going to have a pretty good game on Friday.
If you look back at the 2 out of the 3 losses, the one against the Greyhounds and the one last week, it was the turnover battle that the other team won, and that was the difference. And you're stressing that as a focal point, and that's part of the game. You got to create the turnovers. You got to make things happen, and it's not unnoticed that when your defense comes off the field, you're the first one there, regardless whether it's a positive play or a negative play. You're the first one there, and you're the first one to put a voice in their ear. And, it always seems like it's a positive thing. It's never a negative thing with you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's got to be. Being a defensive back coach, there's a lot of negativity back there as far as, giving up big play or just adjustments that they may catch us on offense. So, yeah, it's got to be a positive all the time, and I think our secondary guys understand that. They play every down for every down. We preach. We may give up big plays, but we're not giving up 6 points. So that's the main thing is we don't give up the big play, then we're always going to be there in the end.
Everybody's always going to remember the big play you give up, but they're not going to remember the 6 plays before that where your defensive backs came up and helped with the run or came up and just knocked the pass away. It's when you're a defensive back, it's a win-win, lose-lose situation because
Absolutely.
it's never nothing positive. You're always going to get blamed for the bad things, but you're never going to get credit for the good things.
Absolutely, yeah. And our boys, it took a little while for us to understand that the past couple of years. We've had some pretty good defensive back play in the past 3-4 years, but it's a mindset. It's a mindset about, hey, I may not be involved in every play throughout the game, but I'm involved in the most important ones. And they've come to realize that.
And Coach, you brought 3 defensive backs with you today. Tell us a little bit about what they're going to see from Bernie champions like wide receivers. Are they tall? Are they fast? What are they going to show?
Well, it's a mixture. They have I know they have a tight end, number 15. I don't know his name in particular, but he's about 6'4", about 195. One of his primary targets, he'll line up inside, he'll line up outside. And then the other guys are just your average size, 5'11", 5'10", but they're pretty quick. Kind of the same things we see each week. There's always one primary target that we always stress, and that's one that Tanner will follow a lot. He'll follow him on the field wherever he goes. And the other guys will adjust to 4 different formations.
Right. Rush pass ratio, what would their ratio be?
Oh, they're straight 50-50.
50-50?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's straight dual threat. You're going to get your power game from the quarterback. You're going to get your option, and then you'll get your play action. You'll get your RPOs. So, yeah, it's straight 50-50 so far.
So everybody has to be ready every
yes, sir.
play.
Every play.
And what I've noticed a lot of these last few games, coaches, you've been rotating in your defensive backs, trying to keep people fresh, and it seems like there's no difference when you keep rotating them in. Every back has gotten better every week and has improved every week. So that's got to be a positive for you, knowing that, hey, if I got to pull Tyler out of the game or I got to pull Tanner out of the game and I put in one of the Ragosa boys or the Bullard boy, there's not a difference. Each one of them has stepped up really good this year.
Well, we have some very unselfish football players on our team. That's the main thing. None of them, expect to be in the game more than the other. They all, preach to each other like, hey, if I'm not in there, this is what's going on. So communication is key for us back there. And you brought up the Ragosas. Noah's probably the best teammate you can have on the team. He has 2 sophomores playing alongside him, and he's the first one to coach them up when they get off the field about this and that. But yes, we have some very unselfish kids that, they play as a unit back there.
Yeah, and it looks like, too, y'all are not afraid to play some of the younger guys. You see a lot of juniors and sophomores actually out there, and they've actually produced. They've done quite well. So, I mean, that's worked out so far.
And we have a good core of seniors. They've been with us for 4 years in the program, and but they also support these young guys a lot, and having a good core of leadership helps these youngsters. Yes. And that's the main thing. I think these youngsters are starting to gain the confidence because these seniors are preaching it to them.
Yeah, you had 3-year starters back there in several spots in
yes,
the secondary.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Overall, generally, Coach, this is that time of the year when injury starts taking their toll. Are we hurting anywhere? Is it just the typical bumps and bruises? Because overall, it seems like we're fairly healthy. You see guys getting treatment, but I don't see anything major. Do we have anything that's hurting us right now?
No, I think it's just bumps and bruises. Everybody's kind of got bumps and bruises going on. These days. I think the difference, from years past is this year we're in shape. And I think that's the biggest deal. I think that's why right now you're not seeing a lot of injuries so far. I think these kids are, our practices are up tempo. We're constantly moving. So.
And a good observation is typically, since it's been so hot and it hasn't cooled off at all, you see a lot of cramp issues, and I haven't been seeing that. At least with our team, I haven't seen it. I know the other teams have had some issues, but, I mean, that's all part of the conditioning things that you guys do.
Yes, sir.
Haven't seen any cramp work, and you haven't seen any tap-outs.
Just Gibson. Gibson had some cramp issues last week, didn't he?
I think he did have a cramp issue
toward the
at
end,
one time. Yes, sir.
James did. And one of the things we got thrown for a loop for at halftime, Trace Ferguson came out in a different jersey, and for a long time we didn't think he was in the ball game. We thought he was hurt, and then we realized that he was wearing a different jersey.
Wearing number 74.
Yeah,
He tore it, right?
is that what happened?
Yeah,
He tore it.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
they tore it off of
Yeah, exactly.
Are we trying something sneaky now?
each week we've had a torn jersey. I don't know if it's the material or if it's just
It's
the
holding. It's holding.
Either it's reminiscent of the old Campbell days when they had the tearaway jerseys.
our coach Mo Belichick's, doing some shady things over there.
Oh, wow. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you and your time.
And good luck.
Yeah, good luck this week
Absolutely.
coming up,
Yeah.
and good luck in the rest of the season.
I will leave with this, on a good note. The past 2 years I've been here at the radio show has been the birding champion weekend, and we've won. So let's keep that going.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Got to keep the tradition going.
Yeah,
More
absolutely.
More power to you.
We're
Thank
gonna,
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
We're going to
Coach.
take a quick break, and then we will come back with the players. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we will continue in just a moment.
Nobody can design, create, or maintain your lawn better than 3D Landscaping and Irrigation. With over 17 years of experience, owner Ray Doyen and his crew take pride in their craftsmanship and service. They're fully insured, offer free estimates, and multiple references, so you know you're getting the best. 3D does landscaping, lawn maintenance, irrigation, tree installation, lighting, and more. Whether it's residential or commercial, 3D Landscaping and Irrigation has you covered. Give 3D a call at 830-985-9115 or find us online at threedlandscaping.com.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleThunting.com.
Buying a new house means a lot of decisions, starting with where are you going to get the best mortgage? At our bank, we offer competitive rates, flexible terms, expert-friendly advice, and without the long wait you get from one of those big city financials. Make your dream home a reality. Talk with us. We're an equal housing lender. Come home to Castroville State Bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at CastrovilleStateBank.com.
You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Welcome back here to Sammy's Restaurant and Sports for Supper, brought to you by Brenda Stein Photography. And I'd like to thank Sammy's for letting us do these these broadcasts here. And we're going to move on to the football players. We have four guys that have joined us here, and we're going to start down on the right end with Taylor Weir. And Taylor, this is your second time on the show, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were here earlier this year. Remind everybody what position you play and your number.
I play linebacker, and I'm number 21.
And you play alongside Grant Snyder, and we've seen both of y'all a lot this year in on tackles and everything. Talk a little bit about and it's something that really can't be taught, is just a nose to go to the football. Like, that's just something that we've noticed from y'all this season.
Well, I used to be like the shy person. Like, I never wanted to go in for that tackle. But playing along Grant, it's always like a competition with us. So if he has more tackles than me, I tell him I'm going to get him next week, but it never happens. But he's kind of taught me that instinct. So if he goes, I'm going, and it's just a race to the ball carrier.
Nice. Go ahead, Maury.
So, are we going to expect a ear hole shot this week again? You're going to get the upper hand on Grant this week?
I'm hoping so. Lockhart, they usually run to my side quite a bit from what we've learned. And so I'm hoping, I'll get more tackles, or I'll do my job and make them cut back up to Grant.
So on the pass protection, are you going to drop back in coverage, or are you going to be one that kind of spies where Boyers is going, or who's got the definition of being the spy on the other side?
Can't say.
But I'm sure you're going to have
That's a
one.
good answer.
That's
a very good
At least
answer.
we know we're
Coach
thinking
Mel
about
is
it.
looking at me thinking, don't answer that question.
At least we know we're thinking about
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Have y'all put emphasis on, since he's a dual threat quarterback, you got to keep your head on the swivel and make sure you know what he's doing with the ball before you dedicate yourself to either the run or the pass?
Yes, sir. It's a big thing this week, especially since he's pretty shifty. And I remember last year broke all of us on defense. So, I mean, we've been practicing on breaking down and working on our tackles, especially if he likes to scramble.
Well, and he's quick, but he's deceivingly quick. Like, he's a big boy, and it doesn't look like he can move like that, and then all of a sudden he moves out of the way and he's
gone.
by you. Yeah, exactly. So talk a little bit about that aspect of who you're facing there.
The discipline part,
Yeah,
how you need to be disciplined on
Yeah.
defense.
I think we would have to do our 1/11th, so we have to do our part. If he wants to break outside, we're gonna have our guys there, you know. And he's smart, so if he sees an open guy, he's gonna let it go. So we need our secondary to stay in coverage, and then our guys to come up if we need them. So it's all about doing our 1/11th.
Running game wise for them, do they have a running back that they go to a lot, or is Boyer their main running back?
I want to say their main running back. They do have a tight end that they like. They're his main, or that's his favorite target.
Okay.
So. Does he run immediate routes, or does he go deep, or it just depends on what coverage?
From the plays we've seen, he doesn't really have an arm, so he'll go short routes.
So you got to be ready for the quick hitters.
Yeah.
And Taylor, I know you mentioned before you play soccer also. When does that start?
Around Thanksgiving, I believe.
Okay, Thanksgiving time. And
hopefully we'll still be playing football.
Yeah, hopefully so.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, absolutely. How does that work playing in the winter time? Is that
for soccer? It's at first it's miserable. I mean, you have to run for like tryouts. It's miles, and then we have to run during practice in soccer, and you get all that cold air when you're breathing, and it's horrible. And there's contact in soccer, and so like when you hit, it stings, or when you get hit by the ball, it makes you kind of want to quit.
I can imagine the ball nice and getting cold. The ball's cold to start with. Yeah. Well, Taylor, thanks for joining us. We're gonna move the mic down to Tanner Bippert, and Tanner, if you'll tell us your position, your number, and your grade in school.
Oh, I'm a senior. I play cornerback, and I'm number 5.
All right, and we've also seen you a lot on special teams. You're a returner, right?
Yes, sir. I return kicks and I return punts as well.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because we don't get a lot of special teams players on here. So, like, when you get the ball punted to you or you get it kicked to you, what is it that you're looking for initially, whether you're going to run up and return it or not?
Well, really, we base our return off the team. So, I mean, each week it changes. Might be middle, outside. I might not even catch it that week. So,
okay.
I mean, it just depends on, I guess, how quick the line gets down there, I guess.
I got you. So you're looking at if their coverage is down there or not, and if you got room to make something happen or
yes,
not.
Sir.
Yeah. All right, and you're a defensive back. Talk to us a little bit about Boyer's throwing ability and the wide receivers you're going to be going up against this week.
Well, the wide receivers are all right. They got one taller guy. I think that's really their only threat to get downfield. But other than that, they just run a lot of quick outs, just easy throws for a quarterback.
Yeah, just getting the ball out of his hands quickly and letting him complete some passes.
Yes, sir.
So are you going to be on the strong side or the weak side, or what dictates what side of the field?
Well, I usually
play on?
I usually play on the left side, but if they're in spread, I'll go to 15, whichever side he's on.
Which means 15, which means
that's
what?
their tight end,
their
right?
receiver.
That's the big tall guy, right?
The taller receiver.
Yeah.
And also, what's the mentality in the locker room coming into this game, knowing that your defense has played very well? Unfortunately, you've come out on the wrong end of a couple of games, but what's the mentality going forward?
Well, we're just gonna go in this game like we've gone in each every one, that act like we're still haven't won a game and just trying to get that first win.
Awesome.
One game at a time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the tight end is the one y'all mentioned. He's the taller one.
Yes, sir.
Does he run deep routes? Does he run intermediate routes? Taylor Weir said he pretty much
more shorter routes.
Inside, so that's not really going to be your responsibility, is it?
Not really, but, I mean, they mix it up decently. So, I mean, we'll just see how it goes.
Has anything changed this week versus last week as far as where you line up other than that? I mean, are you still because sometimes you guys are right up on the line, sometimes you're playing back. What dictates that?
It just depends the coverage.
Depends on the coverage.
Yes, sir.
And the same thing in y'all backpedal before the.
Well, we do. One thing I like about our defense, we mix up our coverages very well. So it's hard to spot them. So like as you said, I backpedal. Sometimes I'll play off.
So
you just never know.
Is that to catch the quarterback maybe off guard if he's looking at
Yes,
the defense and you're up and maybe they hike the ball and you're ready moving backwards?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what that's for. Okay, that's good. I mean that's exactly I guess what that's for is to kind of mess with the quarterback a little bit as he's looking for the setup there.
And Jared mentioned we don't get many special teams players. Is it predetermined where you're going to return, or if you're going to return, to the coaches say, hey, we're going to get good field position, just let it go, or is that something that you make the decision on your own?
Well, last week, so usually it's me and Caden Hernandez and Tyler as well back there, and we usually talk to each other like, hey, this is inside the 5, just go ahead and fair catch it, get it to 25, or it's in the end zone, let it go. Well, last week I didn't hear Caden yell, and I returned it on the 3, and that ended up hurting us. I got to the 15. But usually we do a good job of saying, like, talking to each other. And then as return-wise, when I get the ball, I'm just looking for an opening.
That's on the punts because you're by yourself back there on the punts. Is there a philosophy, hey, if I'm standing on the 10-yard line and it goes over my head, I'm going to let it go?
I guess it would
because what I'm saying is you don't look like one that doesn't want to catch it and return the ball. You want to return it every time.
I enjoy returning
and one thing I've noticed
that.
but when Tanner returns the ball, it's straight north and south. You don't do any shifting or try to juke anybody out. You just try to go straight north and south and get as many yards as you can. Is that your mentality when you're running the ball?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you play any other sports other than football?
I play baseball, and then I run track as well.
All right. And what do you play in baseball?
In baseball, I play shortstop.
Okay, that's right. Yep. And track, what do you run in track?
In track, I do the sprint relay, and then which is the 4x1, and then every now and then, if they need me, I'll do the 4x2 as well.
Okay.
Y'all lost a member of the 4x4. Who do y'all think? Who do you think's going to replace who y'all lost?
I'm not sure yet.
Anybody in mind? I mean,
that I've seen, not really, but I mean, I'm more focused on football right now than running track.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tanner, thanks for joining us. Good luck this week against Champion, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see y'all back later on in the season maybe. And we'll move down, and next over here is going to be Tyler Mangum. And, Tyler, if you'll tell us your position and your number.
Yes, sir. I'm number 2, and I play Bandit.
Bandit, describe what that is.
A bandit is kind of like a mix between a safety and a linebacker. So.
Okay.
Tyler, this is your second time here,
yeah,
right?
Yes,
sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And so what are you seeing from Bernie Champion when you're lining up to the ball? What is it that you're looking for?
Usually just looking for formations and where the receivers are lined up, and that'll kind of determine what I'm going to do, if I'm going to line up as a safety or a linebacker.
Okay, so you're looking at whether it's going to be a pass or a run play. That's what you're trying to figure out before the snap is how you're lining up to a degree.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what is your basic – how many yards off the line of scrimmage are you or does it matter if you see what's going on and you think it's a pass play or run play, or are you still pretty much in the same distance off the line of scrimmage?
It's mostly just based on the formation that they're going to be running out of. So sometimes it'll be about 5 yards off, and sometimes it'll be more about 10 to 12.
And that depends on
just the formation.
Where their formation
yes,
is?
Sir.
Tyler, recently I've seen in your defensive play, you've become a lot more aggressive on your tackles. I mean, there's been a lot more pop to it. Is that something you decided you were going to do? Is it just something that's progressing as the season goes on?
It just kind of sort of happened. I mean, I think working the off season, getting stronger kind of helped with that, and it's just something I really wanted to improve on this year.
Well, you've noticed. You've put the pop on the ball, though.
A couple of ear-hole shots already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the one on the sidelines a couple of weeks ago was pretty nice.
And
I'd like to see that this week, too.
Yes,
a couple of good ones.
Do you enjoy the special teams? Because we last time we talked to you, we didn't talk about special teams.
I like special teams. Last year on JV, I was returning punts, and I had a lot of fun with that. And this year I'm on kickoff returns, so I enjoy it.
So on the kickoff returns, are y'all always going to be one in the middle, or do y'all rotate if they're going to directional kick? It stays the same.
Pretty much stays the same from week to week. Yes, sir.
And if you're not getting the football and there's going to be a return, what are you looking for then? Who are you looking to hit? Just anybody you can find, or is there like a certain somebody you're looking for?
It'll change from week to week based on
Okay.
their kickoff and how they the opposing team likes to kick it off.
Well, the rules have changed so much on
Yeah.
special teams where you can't double team, you can't do this, you can't get a running start. It's actually taking the fun out of the special teams. And, when we were growing up, that was a third of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. They're trying to take that out of there, and I wish they would, and I wish they'd just leave it like it was, because to me, that's the most, important part of the game.
Sure.
I got an off-the-wall question for you, Tyler. Totally unrelated, but this week was the first week that I noticed the stickers on the helmet. What's the deal with the stickers on the helmets?
Be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure because offensive players have stickers, but the defensive players
defense
don't.
does not.
So
Is that his fault back there?
Oh, I must have missed that.
know.
I didn't see any stickers on
Yeah,
the helmet. I
they
must
have
have
white
completely
stickers
missed
on the
it.
back of the helmet. We'll ask
Oh,
Garrison
the
later.
merits or whatever?
I'm not sure. That's why I want an answer, because I sat in the stands last week and I was going, some of them have them, some of them don't. What's going on here?
defense doesn't need it.
Well, but I'm kind of saying if the offense is going to get some stickers, the defense needs to get some stickers too, because the defense
They should get some
is
gold
keeping
stars
them-
is what they should
keeping,
get.
Keeping the game
Absolutely.
reasonable, and that's something that we talk about every year. The defense is always ahead of the offense. I know you're on the other side of the ball, but is the confidence building on the offense every week also?
I definitely think so. I mean, on defense, we definitely have trust in our offense to go and make drives, and we see it in practice all the time, and they're definitely improving from week to week. So,
Just a matter of execution.
yes, sir.
One of the things that Coach Mo was talking about was trying to force turnovers. How are y'all? What are y'all doing different to try to force those? What are the things that you're doing?
Well, sometimes we'll have some pre-snap movement, just try and throw off the quarterback, maybe get him to make a mistake and throw an interception. And turnovers is something we work on a lot in practice, just throughout different drills and stuff. So it's a big thing that we're trying to improve on.
All right. And do you play any other sports?
Yes, sir. I play basketball and baseball.
Basketball and baseball. And basketball, what's your position in basketball?
I'm a point guard.
Point guard.
Yes, sir.
And baseball?
I used to play catcher, but I think this year I'll be playing more outfield this year.
Okay.
Basketball, have you ever met a shot you didn't like?
Have I ever what?
Have you ever met a shot you didn't like? In other words, you'll shoot it from wherever you are on the court?
I'm not really a deep range shooter, so I like to take it more to the basket when I play basketball. So
There you go.
Well, Tyler, thanks for joining us again, and good luck this week and in the coming weeks. And we'll move on, Mike, down, and if you'll tell us your name, your number, and your position, and your grade in school.
My name's Logan Gill. I'm a junior, number 20, and I'm a rover.
You're a rover. All right, talk to us a little bit about what the rover is. Explain to people at home.
Well, I'd say rover's sort of like an outside linebacker mixed with like a corner maybe.
Okay. And when you're doing that, what are you looking for when the offense comes to the line of scrimmage?
I usually go wherever the most receivers are, or just.
So you're going to their strong side of their line.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And with that said, are you covering a receiver? Or are you looking for the run? Are you spying the quarterback? Like what's your role there?
Well, generally, I'm more of a run player, but if it's a pass, then I usually drop into my zone and.
Okay.
So on the field, where are you compared to where the Bandit plays? Where's the rover compared to the Bandit?
I'd typically be on the opposite side of him, and I'd be more up close, like on one of the receivers or.
You'd be closer to the
more
line of
linebacker
scrimmage.
depth.
Yes, sir.
More linebacker depth, right?
Yes, sir.
They call it strong safety a lot too. Back in the old days, it was
Yeah,
called monster.
okay. Yeah.
Because in the program, in the starting lineups, we only list one safety. So that would, if it would be back to normal, he would be he would be another safety.
I guess how they were that they draw it up, but it's considered a strong safety.
So your main objective is to see what the formation is, and then that determines how far off the line of scrimmage you're going to play?
Yeah, pretty much.
Does someone call the strong side that allows you to know which way to go, or is it just something that you have to look out for yourself?
Well, the linebackers do call it, but I usually just find it myself before and try to get there as fast as I can.
So that's Taylor or
Grant.
Grant,
Yes, sir.
or when one of y'all, when Taylor or Grant is out of the lined up? The other one makes the call, or they both kind of get the signals from the sidelines together, or who actually makes the call when they're both on the field?
I think both of them typically do, and they just kind of see they just see what the formation is, and they call it from there.
So you're basically going to be more or less on Taylor's side of the field most of the time?
I think typically, yeah.
And you rotate with who do
Devin.
You with Devin, okay.
Sure.
That's that other spot, okay.
That's the
The rover, yeah. How is Devin, by the way?
He's doing good.
He's gonna be able to play this week?
Yeah, he's good.
So what would you rather do, come up and run support, or would you rather drop back and cover a pass?
Well, I'd probably say the pass because, I mean, you get a chance to get a pick, you know.
Well, Coach Little Mo's talking about getting some turnovers. Maybe you'll make the first turnover and intercept one and run it back for a touchdown and get the special teams going. What do you mean you don't know about that?
He wants to get his own first.
Well, yeah, well, there you go.
They all want to be the first one to do it.
Everybody wants to be the first, but somebody has to be. So let's make it this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, turnovers are going to be big. I think that whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game this week.
Especially when the last couple of games against Champion have been decided by 3 points or less. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and a bad snap on a 50-something yard field goal try last year.
No, but the reason that happened is because we knocked the holder out.
Yeah, it knocked the holder out of the game earlier.
The
yeah,
defense
absolutely.
knocked their holder out.
Yeah, and so they've been exciting games. And talk a little bit about that because you played at this stadium once already this year. What kind of does that help you out a little bit? You know, knowing the stadium a little more. Does it not matter at all?
I'd say it helps out a little bit. It's more like, you know, you feel at home and you get a little time to get prepared for the game instead of just going on a bus and, you know, hopping on their field and playing.
For the first time,
It's going to be a lot louder this week.
Oh, yeah, than it was there. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And do you do other sports other than football?
Oh, yes, sir. I run track.
You run track? What do you do in track?
I run the 200 and I do triple jump.
Okay. And
what's your personal best in the triple jump?
I'm really not sure. I don't remember. Yeah.
And all right, guys. Well, I want to thank all of y'all for joining us. Or Dwayne, you got something else? Okay. I'll just thank y'all and good luck this week. And hopefully we'll see y'all down the road.
And let's get a turnover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or 3.
We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
Every time I get a check, it means a trip to the bank. Well, not anymore. With a new mobile deposit feature on my banking app, you just snap a picture of the check, tap a screen, and you're done. I call it Easy Chair Banking.
Come home to Castroville State Bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at castrovillestatebank.com. The pace of business is faster than ever. That's why when you need a business loan, you want a bank that can act fast. Not only do you get great rates and fast answers, you get the financial advice you need to keep your business growing. It's a better way to borrow. Stop by and let's talk. Come home to Castroville State Bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at castrovillestatebank.com.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tandre, Tondre-Gwynn, GUINN.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funeral notices. You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, and we are going to be joined by Coach Reinhardt of the tennis team and a couple of the players. And Coach, thanks for joining us here this year. We had you last year. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on with the tennis team this year.
So far we're sitting at 3-2. We're hoping that would be 4-1, but we had a rough start out with our first match against Floresville. Just didn't quite have our lineup together the way we wanted it. But we're looking forward to this week. We're playing Southwest Legacy tomorrow. Should be a pretty good match. I think we should be able to hold our own pretty well in that one.
Is that at Medina Valley?
No, it's going to be at Southwest Legacy. But our one that's going to be our tough one that we've been working hard for right now is Uvalde in 2 weeks. That's really our determining factor on whether we're going to place third in district or fourth. So, unfortunately, since we didn't win that Floresville match, third is as high as we can get if we can hopefully take down Uvalde.
So the season is that far along already?
Yeah, so we actually started the first week of school, and we've had a match every week since. Some schools actually start the week before. We choose to wait and start right away, but that means we have a match every single week for the next 7 weeks.
But this is considered fall tennis, correct?
Yes, this is fall
tennis. And there's
tennis.
a whole different thing that happens in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and I know we've talked about this before last year, but can you kind of explain the difference between the fall and the spring?
Yeah, absolutely. So in fall tennis, we play other teams. So like we play another sport. So, I mean, not another sport, another high school.
Right.
So, just like football would play against, Bernie Champion, we play against Floresville. So we take our boys doubles, our girls doubles, one mixed team, and then 6 girls singles and 6 boys doubles. And so we play a total of 19 matches. And so we play against them, and basically the first team to win 10 matches technically has the win. Sometimes we finish it out. So some of our scores may look a little weird sometimes. So sometimes for instance, our Harlan score was 8-11. Like we lost, but we played out completely because we were match for match, point for point by the end of it. But like last week, our score was 10-2
against Southwest.
Against Southwest, yeah, because we finished them off pretty easy and didn't end up finishing the rest of their matches because
So which season determines when you go further? Because that's what I'm confused on. If there's 2 different seasons, which
can you advance in both?
You can advance in both. So in fall tennis, basically, so the district has 8 teams in it, and basically it's 1 through 4 goes to the next level, which is by district. So our district will play against, so we're 28, so we play against I think either 27 or 26. So basically normally we play SAISD's district. So the 1 through 4 in our district will play the 1 through 4 of their district, but in reverse order. So number 4 plays their number 1, and etc.
So is that each season?
That's for the fall.
So let's backtrack just a little bit. It's team competition in the fall, and the spring is individual. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Individual. So in the fall, it's only varsity tennis. So I only have my varsity team that I play.
Okay.
Now the JV, if other teams have, we have a pretty large JV. We have 60 kids on our team this year.
Wow.
Which is the largest we have ever had. We were at 43 last year. We got a huge amount of freshmen this year.
So it is freshmen?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of it, we got 18 freshmen this year. And actually, we actually had quite a few sophomores who added in, who had been playing a little bit but hadn't actually played with us. So team just keeps growing. And
how do those numbers compare to the other teams in the district?
So it's varied, actually. Like Southwest last week, they had enough to have a full team with a couple of extras, but they really didn't have a huge team. I know that when Floresville came, they had 36. Then that's total. That's JV and varsity. Legacy is normally struggling to form a team. In past years, they actually haven't had enough players to have a complete team. This year, I think, is the first year they actually have a full varsity team, but that probably means they don't have a JV or maybe they're building one. Uvalde, on the other hand, is like us. They have oodles and oodles of kids, but they also have a program that is enriched in tennis. So they have all the way from, middle school all the way up to high school tennis, and they have like a beautiful facility with like 18 tennis courts and a coach that coaches tennis all day.
Well, but with the influx of new players you have, the added courts that Medina Valley has put in has helped too, because pretty good facility here now at Medina Valley where you can have a tournament of your own and have enough courts to where
so we definitely, our 5 courts that we have up at the high school, are excellent. Our ones at the middle school are they've been through some time, and they're about due some work on them. We definitely, in the spring, we run our own tournaments. We're actually going to run 2 this year, which I'm really excited about. Last year, we ran our JV tournament at home, and we did our varsity tournament at ATC, which is the Anne Marie Tennis Center, which is over off of Calabria and 410. And because our tournament got really big unexpectedly, people just were like, hey, we want to be a part of your tournament. We know you run a good tournament. And I was like, okay. So I just kept adding people, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need a bigger facility.
Overwhelmed yourself, huh?
Yeah, well, but this year we're going to run a small tournament at home, and then we're going to run a larger tournament over at ATC.
In the spring?
In the spring.
Okay. Are we hosting anything in the fall?
Or
have we already?
Yeah, we've already hosted in the fall. I think we're about done with our home matches because the rest of our matches are unfortunately away. We're going to be at Legacy, then Uvalde, and then EP Win. But I believe we will have our end of season Hondo match. So we do a beginning of the season Hondo match and an end of season, and we just swap. So we went to Hondo last time. So Hondo will be at home.
Tennis matches start at 4:30?
4:30,
4:30
yes.
on Thursdays.
4:30 on Thursdays for the most part. Sometimes they're on Wednesdays depending on the team, but most of the time on Thursdays.
So tomorrow 4:30 at Legacy?
Yes, sir.
And then the following week 4:30 at Uvalde?
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned that you take a boys and girls double and then 6 individuals and a mixed. Can the individuals play on the doubles, or do you have to have completely different players?
In the fall, yes. So we have 3 doubles teams. So 3 boys doubles, 3 girls doubles, which is technically a total of 6. And then there's 1 mixed doubles team. Yes, they can switch roles. Most of the time we have probably about 4 that are crossing over. Usually we take our top kids and we play them in both, just because that's going to give us a better advantage of getting more, higher scores. Some kids are specialized where they're just better at a particular role. Like some kids are just way better in doubles, and then they will just completely blow a singles match. Oppositely, you have some kids that are just really good in singles and do not perform well in doubles. So we do have a couple of those kids that we kind of don't play in both roles. Okay. Now in the spring, on the other hand, everybody has to play a singular role. There is no crossover, so you can't play in 2 roles in the spring. In the spring, you're playing for yourself, you're playing as an individual. And so when I take a team, say a varsity team in the spring, I take 8 girls and 8 boys, and they have to be in that role. So if you're playing singles this week, you're only playing singles. Okay. And if you're playing doubles, you're only playing doubles.
So what is the year-round commitment of a tennis player? Can you have any off-season camps going on yourself, or is that something that the players have to do themselves, or is there what is around to keep them playing all year round?
So in the summer, there are a lot of camps, a lot of extra tournaments that they can do, and we definitely encourage our players to go out and do those. And I would say that my kids who go out and play those extra tournaments and stuff, those are the kids that are most successful.
But this is kind of at the parents' expense, though, correct? I mean,
some
do
of
they
it
have
is.
any free
Oh yeah.
stuff to where
Well,
everybody can go?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things. You just kind of have to find them. The biggest thing is just getting out and playing. Like, even if you don't go to, a fancy, expensive camp, if you just grab some people and go out on the courts and hit, like for us, every Wednesday during the summer, we have open court.
So courts are open.
And the courts are always open. Anybody, and we encourage our kids to play as much as possible. The more hits that you get, the better. Because we're at a disadvantage because we do not have a middle school tennis program. So I have to build kids up from freshman year to a varsity level tennis player. And when you're a freshman and you go up against a kid from Uvalde who's been playing for 3 years already, and you're like...
3 and then before...
if they are.
And let me ask you this. When you say you have 60 some odd kids on your team, how hard is it to find enough teams that have that to be able to get them into a tournament and play?
It's extremely difficult. Like, most of the time in previous years, we've played a match against, Floresville. In the fall, we always play a match against Uvalde. A lot of teams aren't having those large JVs like we are. So it's kind of hard to find places for them. Now this year we're kind of doing something a little different. A lot of the other coaches in the area are starting to feel a lot of stress with all the tournaments that we have in the spring. So in the spring you run 8 tournaments, or you have to go to 8 tournaments. Like that's your maximum amount of tournaments that you could do. So everybody wants to do the max so that they can prepare. But if you have a JV team, it's we're going to have a JVA and a JVB this year. So we're going to have 2 JV teams, which means between myself and Coach Campbell, that means we have to go to, if we take all of them to 8 tournaments, so 8 times 3, that's 24 tournaments that we're going to go to.
Wow.
So that's 24 days that we're not in school, because a fall or spring tennis tournament is the entire school day. So we leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and we might get back at 10 o'clock at night because we're playing tennis all day.
So you have one assistant helping you?
Yes.
Go through a basic day of tennis practice.
So
what is, in other words, the conditioning and stuff, which people don't understand? You've got to be in shape to run.
Yeah.
The court. What is a basic?
So a basic day at tennis practice. So you got to understand that when you have 60 kids and only 9 courts, and most of the time if you're working up at the working up at the high school, we only technically have 5 courts that we're working on. So we run everybody at first. We usually do a 10-minute run just to get everybody because it is hot. It has been so hot this year.
No, and I was going to ask one of them over here pretty quick about.
Oh my gosh, on those tennis courts, it is just absolute fire out there. So we're trying to get them used to the heat and just get a little bit of that running in. We do our stretches on the court. We'll do different footwork drills. But most of the time, especially due to the mass quantities of kids we have, we just want them to get as many hits as possible. So we're out there on the courts hitting. Our goal is to get them switching in consistently, because we may have, depending on if we're just at the high school, or if we're running both at the high school and the middle school, we can have 8 to 10 kids per court, and that's a lot of kids per court, and it gets hard to make sure that you're getting everybody a quality quality workout and
it's a lot of tennis
practice.
balls too.
So the
yeah.
when you say running, is that lines like they do in basketball? You run to the first line, you run to half court and go back, or what is the running?
So we do around our 5 tennis courts, we do a 10-minute run. So we do laps all the way around the tennis court. So for that long distance endurance, and then we will do footwork drills, but we're running on the court. So we're going to have our rackets with us. We're going to have our rackets up. We're going to be working on shuffling. We're going to be working on backpedaling. We're working on sprinting up to the net and things of that nature. So when we're doing our more quick, our sprinting, we want to do that on the court because we want to simulate match play as much as possible.
Makes sense.
That was my question. That was going to be my question, because it's different just running, and it's different running when you have to keep your hands up and have a racket. It's a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah, we try to make sure that everything that we do involves the racket, because you can go out and run, but that's not what you're going to be doing on the tennis court. You're going to be running with a racket in your hand, and you've got to, especially it's so hard with the beginners because they just want to react, right? So we need to get them to where they're using the racket to actually play, not just react. And that's probably the hardest thing, and just get them used to what it's like to have that racket in your hand, to keep your proper hold, to make sure that you're not spinning your racket or changing your hold or holding it in a weird spot, which is a lot of things we struggle with our beginners.
Since you're talking about the racket, let me ask you a quick question. Has technology changed the rackets at all recently? Because, I mean, if you go – because I know baseball, the bats change all the time. There's always a different bat, and they do all kinds of –
restrictions.
And there's restrictions now on bats. Has the tennis racket changed much over the years?
I would say that there are a lot of different changes, but it's mostly in the weight and like the different types of materials that they're using, and then the types of strings that they have and the different tensions that they put on it. But honestly, I don't know that there are any particular restrictions that they put on tennis rackets. And really with tennis rackets, it's so funny because it's so individualized and so like specific to the individual player. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different racket. Everybody's, stringing is different. Everybody, and it's really, as a beginner, like beginners can, go grab a, $10, $20 racket from, Walmart and
we
be
used
totally
to get them from
fine.
Western Auto. From
right next to the water pumps?
GMC's, yeah.
Oh, well.
Revelation was the only
I
kind,
remember.
and then it was
They were
Wilson,
wooden.
and then it went to, hey, you know what? We got a better one here. We can get the Dunlop that's got the D on the string. That was really good.
I'm personally a fan of head rackets. That's what I have the Instinct, which is one of my favorite rackets. It's awesome. The new Clash just came out. One of my players just got that because his racket broke the other day. I didn't particularly like the Clash, but it's all a preference.
What is the standard tension of a regular racket?
They're changing all.
It's so different, and it's like based on pounds. So like.
So how do you fit a player to a racket?
Right.
Swing
speed?
No, really, it's like I said, it's totally a preference thing. So what I normally recommend for my tennis players when they're because like I said, beginners, go get you a little $10 racket, whatever. As you start to get to the varsity level, you'll start to realize that, this isn't a good racket for you, that there are better things for you. So typically there's actually a store in San Antonio called First Serve, and they'll actually let you demo rackets. So
kind of like a golf store.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you pay $5 per racket, and you can get 2 or 3 and just go out on the courts and try them out and just see. There are some like Wilson has a line of rackets right now. It's the Burn, the Clash that just came out. What is the green one that Garrett has?
So it is a lot like baseball.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, they have a line of them, and some of them they're, specific towards, certain things, and, whether you want more control, whether you want more power, whether you want spin. I mean, there's just, it's so, like, specific and preference and play style and I mean, but you can ask the girls how they've chose their rackets because they've gone through a few.
Well, speaking of that, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you brought here with you?
So today I have 2 seniors that I'm going to greatly miss when they leave me. I've got such a great group of seniors this year. Definitely want to give a shout out to them. They're absolutely fantastic. The majority of my team are seniors this year, so they are going to be such a hard group to lose. They put so much work into the tennis team, and they're such a great example for our JV that it's just going to be so hard to lose them. But I've got Hannah Shearhart and Maddie Villarreal, both seniors, both been playing since their freshman year, and probably a little bit more than that. Just excellent tennis players. So they played doubles together for a little bit and then kind of split off, and Maddie's playing mixed doubles now, and Hannah still plays girls doubles, and it's just, they're versatile players. They'll go wherever I put them. They'll play, they'll take care of business, and without any complaints. So.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us, and we're going to talk to your players here now for a little bit. Good luck in the match tomorrow, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And all right, Hannah. It's all right. The mic won't bite you. All right. So you're a senior.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about a day in tennis practice for you.
Well, typically we start out running like for 10 minutes, and then sometimes we go into we start out like warming up with our partner on the other side of the court, and we'll start at the service line, which is the line that is closer, and we'll just hit some points together, and then we'll move back and then back up to net, and we'll just hit it back and forth to get some points in. And then we'll take some serves, and that's just our typical warm-up. We stay at each place for like 5 minutes, and it just gets us warmed up, ready for whatever we're to do that day. And a lot of the time we play matches just against people of our skill level. Could be doubles, could be singles. And then if not that, then we'll do some drills and various things like that to work on our skills.
The coach said you play doubles. Do you warm up with your partner?
Yes, typically I do.
So each person doesn't have to run around and look and say, okay, who am I going to warm up with? Everybody knows who they're paired with pretty much to keep it a little simpler?
Yes, sometimes we mix it up throughout the weeks. So we don't really know who we're playing with for that week, but we'll typically stay with the same person.
So do you do singles also?
I do.
In the springtime, or?
I haven't really decided which one I'm going to do yet, but I'm normally a doubles player, but in the fall I do play singles as well.
But you prefer probably working doubles then?
Yes, I'm a doubles player.
Tell me a little bit about the conditioning aspect of it, especially when you get toward the end of a match and you've been running around and you're probably tired. And, I mean, I'm sure there's some mental stuff that comes into that as well. Would you say that your conditioning do you want it to be better than your opponent? Like, do you feel like you're more conditioned than them?
Well, it is 50-50 mental and as well as condition. And it's like 50% skill, 50% your mental, your confidence and stuff. I would say that I'm probably a little lesser on the confidence side, but if I'm like really confident about a match, then I can probably do really well against my opponent. But it really just depends on the day. If I could have a bad day, then it ruined the match for me. But it's just the day. It depends.
So Hannah, you're a senior now.
Yes.
So you've been playing out there for quite a bit. I don't know if you realize that this September is going down as the hottest September ever on record.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think you just gave me my answer. Have you noticed that? I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it does feel hotter to you?
Yeah, especially on the court, because we have these wind blockers all around the court that if there's even a little bit of breeze, you're still not going to feel it. And the sun is just beating down.
Well, your practice starts at what time?
It starts at like around 3:30.
Around 3:30. So it's hot. And not to mention that your matches start at 4:30, and you don't get any of the coolness or the sun going down as the other sports do. So I know it's got to be hot on you. So, I mean, can you just feel it radiating off the courts?
For sure. Like, even sometimes we play this game called Landmine where we have to physically go sit down on the court, and it's awful. Your butt is burned.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know how this works. Let's say it rained during the day. And do they put tarps over the courts, or do they get wet? Do you play on a wet court?
We don't.
No.
Even if it's like a little drizzle and the court is like slightly damp, we cannot
I was
play.
going to ask you about the humidity radiating off the court if it was wet, but you don't even play on it then. I'm guessing that's a safety issue. I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. It gets really, really slippery, especially on the lines.
How about the surface on the court? Like, it's pretty rough from what I've always experienced. How hard is that on like your shins and your knees and the pounding? Like, do y'all have to wear braces or things like that?
Sometimes we get like tennis knee and stuff like that, but it's really smart to wear really like thick-soled shoes, which is what a lot of the tennis shoes are. So we just have to be smart with what shoes we wear. I've never heard of anybody wearing braces on the court, though.
I just wondered.
Yeah.
You talked about sometimes you get mentally overwhelmed. What are you doing to improve yourself on the mental part, and what gets you distracted the most? That you think, okay, I'm losing here. What do I got to change?
Yeah, I'll really beat myself down. Like if I lose the first point or game, it'll get down on me. I'll be like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this, or even in the warm up, if we're just hitting against our opponent, and if I see that she's like hits a few good shots, I'll get kind of nervous, and it might ruin me from there. But to like try and get over that, I just like think of all my like friends that are watching me on the side, and it's really comforting to see them like cheering me on and stuff like that. It's really nice.
Can you get it back in one shot?
Sometimes I can, yes.
What would you rather do? Return a good serve or serve an ace?
I would probably. My serves depend, so I'd probably hit a really good shot. That would be good.
There you go.
This might be a foolish question, but can y'all do any other kind of extracurricular activities with tennis since it's more of a year-round sport?
We definitely can. It's kind of harder for the other sports. I don't play any other sports, but for academic stuff like that, it's not that hard. I'm in plenty of academic things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your goals after Medina Valley?
I plan to go to A&M, so really competitive D1. So I don't know if I could make it as at the D1 level, but I would like to continue playing recreationally at least.
Great, good job, Hannah.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
and good luck in the season, and good luck in whatever you go on to do.
Thank you.
And we'll move the microphone down. And
Maddie,
you'll tell us your name, please.
I'm Maddie Villarreal.
And you're a senior also.
I'm a senior, yes, sir.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about. So you started as a freshman?
Yes,
and
sir.
Tell me about your progression through the season, like how you've how you like progressed through getting to be a better tennis player.
I say I would progress like pretty well. I started a little before freshman year started, and I wasn't very good. And from now, I can like serve an ace, and I can hit a good shot on the other opponent. So I'd say I've improved a lot.
So when you first started, was this something that you just said, you know what, I'm just going to try out for tennis and give it a shot, and you've started to take it serious?
Exactly. How do you come out all of a sudden? I want to play. Do you watch a match on TV? So that's something I want to try.
Well, I thought their outfits were pretty cute, and I was very impressed with how I wanted to dress.
How are y'all's uniforms? You like them?
I like them. We pretty much wear whatever we feel is comfortable, because you want something that's very loose and open so you can serve like really well, and yeah, but that's how I started.
Your serve is your strong part?
My serve is not really my strong suit. It's more of my forehand, but yeah.
So after you come out as a freshman and you say, you know what, I kind of like this, how did it change mentally? Did you say, okay, now I'm really going to try and take it real serious?
Yes, sir. I really saw myself progressing through like the years, and I was like, I really want to try making it to like college level, but that's not going to work out, but it's okay because it was just like really weird.
Well, the whole key is you never gave up. You wanted to try it, and you just worked your tail off, and here you are. You're a senior, and you're getting playing time. Good for you.
Yes,
when you start out a season, and not just as a senior, but even as an underclassman, do y'all kind of set goals? Like, obviously you want to win every match you're in, but you kind of set goals like, I want to win this many of the matches that I'm going to be in, and is that kind of...
Yes, I feel like that really helps with your mindset during the match, and so if you do make those goals, you like want to get to that, like, I don't know how to say it, but like you want to get there, and so it really just helps.
It helps you mentally during matches to prepare, yeah.
Singles, doubles, what do you do?
I do mixed.
You do mixed?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that earlier. Is that what you prefer?
Yes, sir.
You got to make sure you have a good partner. Do you get to
I
pick?
do.
Do you get to pick your partner, or?
I did get to pick my partner, and I say he kind of like holds us, but yeah.
Is he a senior also, or?
He is a senior, yes, sir.
So when you watch tennis on TV, are you overwhelmed with the young gal that did really good the last two?
That beat Serena?
Yeah. I mean, do you say, you know what, do you realize what it takes to be where she's at and what the effort is?
Yes, sir. wish I would have started out as a younger age, but
How young do they start nowadays? Do they start really young?
Those professionals are those kids like that girl that beat Serena. I mean, they started. I mean, probably by the time they could pick a racket up.
Wow.
There's no way that they could progress to the level that they are.
I'd imagine that like kids whose families live in country clubs and have access to that kind of thing at an
Absolutely.
early age, they're playing all the time.
Down at McFarland Tennis Center, they're running all those camps. Half the Alamo Heights team is down there just. I mean, and there's little kids who are probably better than us when we walk by, and we're like, whoop.
So, Maddie, what is your tennis racket of
Yeah.
choice? I wanted to ask.
I was just
and
thinking
it
about
just-
that.
and what is the tension, or is that what you call it, tension? Or
What's your racket that you swing right now?
Okay, so just like Coach Reinhardt, I have the Head Instinct, and my tension strings are, I think they're about 63, something like that.
So you go up to their store and you say, okay, this is what I want to try. Now you chose that racket because you need help with. You thought it'd help you do what?
More with control and power.
Control and
because
power.
I was, during my freshman year, I was slowly getting more power in my arm just because of the more muscle that I had, and the cheapy rackets don't really work as well with that
Revelations.
instinct. So yeah.
So what is a racket like you swing? What is it cost?
It costs around $90 to $200.
Just like baseball bats, if not
so
less.
so
Baseball's
when you
more.
get one, I mean, obviously you're buying it for how it feels in your hand, what it's made out of. When you bust like the strings on the racket, can you get it restrung?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it very rare that you actually break the frame of the racket, or is?
No, I used to break a few of them.
Yeah, but on purpose.
Not that way,
I'm
don't
sure
worry.
you broke them out of anger.
If you hit it on the court, it's more likely that you'll break the frame. But if you just hit it like on the strings, it's probably not.
Now,
gonna
what
break.
happens if your strings start snapping during a match? Would you have backup rackets, or?
You're supposed to have a backup racket, or the coaches are supposed to have a stringer.
Oh, okay.
And you can take
so
a
y'all actually
break.
You can actually string them right there
You
if
can
you
fix and
Yes,
repair them
sir.
yourself. Okay.
Okay.
So what color are your strings?
Mine are clear because I think it matches more. Because my racket is blue with orange and then white.
So is it? This might be a dumb question too, but is it oversized? I mean, they have different sizes of the.
like the diameters and all that kind of stuff?
Sizes are going to be like your beginner, like, you know, kind of your.
Because it's more forgiving, you're gonna be able to.
When you get
Yeah.
to your better rackets, they're going to be a little more. They're going to be definitely smaller and more standardized.
There's obviously a sweet part on the racket, right? When you hit a ball, like you know you caught that good. When you get into some, like the rackets get to be more sophisticated in a way, does that spot shrink a little bit, or does it get bigger because they're better rackets?
I would say it gets bigger just because the racket is much better.
Okay.
That wasn't a dumb question, Maury. This is a dumb question. What's tennis elbow?
Tennis elbow is because when you hit the ball, you want to do it in like a good motion, so to say, and it just the tension from the racket, it really hurts.
So I guess what I wanted to get to has you're a senior now. Have you had any injuries? Have you had any pulls or anything from tennis?
Not
You stayed
really.
pretty healthy all the way through. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's ironic is I'm a golfer and I get tennis elbow. So
Wrong
there
sport
go.
for you. Playing the wrong sport,
No,
Maury.
I'm not gonna run.
If you have good form, you're not gonna mess your arm up. If you have bad form, that's what's gonna cause. Or if you're overhitting, that's what's gonna cause you to hit issues.
Yeah. And-
So form is so incredibly important. The way that you come up with your follow through and make contact with that ball has everything to do with if you're gonna get an injury or not. If
So-
you have good form, you're gonna be fine.
You know, the nice thing, Maury, about tennis, it's a lot like golf. They can play it after high school. You know,
Right.
you can still
Yeah.
continue playing it,
Lifelong
enjoying
sport.
it. Yeah.
Lifelong sport.
So what is your racket of choice, Miss Shehart?
I have a Head Speed. It's just a different variation of the one that Maddie
So
has.
And you picked that why?
I like a heavier racket on the frame, because it just helps me like get my form down. I just like the way it felt.
So is the head racket kind of the racket of choice now? Because it used to be when we were playing 25 years ago when Prince rackets came out, oh my, everybody had to have a Prince racket. You very seldom even see those anymore.
It's kind of like that now with the Babolat's or the Wilsons.
The Babolat's and the Wilsons.
Babolat's are very, very popular. A lot of people have those.
So what are the pro players playing?
They're
think
all
anything.
over the place. It depends on their sponsorships, first of
that's
all.
exactly
and
right.
Second of all, a lot of them are running the Wilson line right now. Like, that Wilson line is really good, or the Babolat's. But, like, a lot of Europeans, they'll play with Yonex, or I don't remember what the one with the lines is. I can't remember the name of that one.
So what was the
Babolat.
Is that a new racket now? I've never heard of that brand before.
I believe it started off European, and it's kind of came into the United States.
Like the Yonex?
Yeah.
All right, and
I would say a lot of our boys run Wilsons. I think Tyler has the I don't remember. His is the Arrow, right?
I have no clue.
Arrow. I think he runs a Babolat.
so we asked her, what color are the strings on your racket?
Mine are clear, but my racket is black, white, and red.
Black, white, and red.
Yeah.
Okay, for each one of y'all, who are your partners?
My partner, her name is Daniela Lara.
Senior?
Yes, she's a senior as well.
And then mine is Maverick Linsman, and he's a senior.
Okay, you play mixed. That's right. Yep. Well, girls, thanks for joining us, and Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck to y'all in the
job.
season, and yeah, good job, and we appreciate y'all
Join us
coming.
again when we're on later on when y'all improve on that record.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some spring shows also.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was about to say, maybe we'll come back in the spring too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank y'all, and we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
This is MVBN, the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley athletics and area youth sports for over 30 years.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Medina Electric Cooperative is sending 3 students on the trip of a lifetime for free. The 2020 Government in Action Youth Tour is an all-expenses-paid week-long learning and leadership event in June that starts in Austin and then takes kids to Washington, D.C. Winners also receive a $500 scholarship for college. The deadline is December 13th, 2019. Apply online at Medina.
You know what I did on my Pro Picks last week? 1 in 5.
Nobody can design, create, or maintain your lawn better than 3D Landscaping and Irrigation. With over 17 years of experience, owner Ray Doyen and his crew take pride in their craftsmanship and service. They're fully insured, offer free estimates, and multiple references, so you know you're getting the best. 3D does landscaping, lawn maintenance, irrigation, tree installation, lighting, and more. Whether it's residential or commercial, 3D Landscaping and Irrigation has you covered. Give 3D a call at 830-985-9115 or find us online at THREED Landscaping.
You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, and I'm gonna let Dwayne go ahead and give you a volleyball update right now.
Yeah, Jared, big game last night. Medina Valley took on Floresville. Both teams going in to the match with a 5-1 district record. However, Medina Valley came out victorious with a 3-0 sweep. Played really, really well yesterday. Floresville didn't put too much of a fight, but a great match came out. So now Medina Valley right now sitting in sole possession of second place with a 6-1 district record, and Floresville now 5-2. They're both, however, are trailing Harlan, which is a 7-0 in district. Harlan actually played Bernie High School last night, and they won 3-2. And yeah, so I mean, what that tells me, and we beat Bernie pretty handily. I think it was a 3-0 match against Bernie. We played them earlier in the season, so it's very possible for Medina Valley to keep rolling and still take district play. Right now, sitting overall at 22-13. Harlan's sitting at 26-8, and Floresville sitting at 16-8. So that's the top 1, 2, and 3 positions right now. And the Somerset and Southside are going to be fighting for that third place position. So they come off a big win against Floresville last night, and this Friday they will be playing at Southside at 6 p.m.
That's another big matchup right there.
They can be a sleeper, let me tell you. They beat some teams that I saw earlier in tournament play that they probably shouldn't have beaten. But
they beat us last year, didn't they?
Last year they took, I believe they took one.
Yeah, we went over and we did the game last year, and they beat us.
So, I mean, they've got a good team. They can't overlook that. But that is the last game of the first round of district play. So after Fridays, we start all over again the second round at Floresville. I mean, at Uvalde. So we'll be at Uvalde starting on Tuesday. So those are the 2 games that we have coming up.
So do y'all have an idea of when the next
broadcast will be? Next Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll be doing Tuesday
Y'all
games.
will be in Uvalde.
No, we're going to be at home against.
That's right.
Oh,
Tuesdays are at home.
It is at Uvalde. You're correct. Yep, it's at Uvalde, and we're going to try to do that game, I believe, next week. Isn't that the one that's at Uvalde?
Tuesday at Uvalde, yes.
We're going to try. I've got a schedule back at home that I went through, and I kind of selected at least one game a week we're going to try to work.
Because right now we really can't do 2 games at the same time because of our system, so we're going to try to concentrate and take care of all the Tuesday volleyball games coming up. And now that the second round is coming up, each one's going to have a pretty significant meaning, each match. So we're going to try to do as many as we can.
So do you have a kind of in the future look at if Medina Valley finishes first, second, or third, who is in that other district that Medina Valley might be facing in the first round? Will it be?
I believe it's 27-5A.
It's SAISD with Alamo Heights. Remember, we played Alamo Heights last year.
Right. Alamo Heights and Jefferson are probably the ones you're looking at right now. Those are the 2 top teams in that district.
Well, but if we're one of the top teams, we would not face one of them.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure who the others are.
Okay.
I haven't looked at those district standings yet.
But the Panthers and Coach Griggs took a big step last night.
Absolutely, and looked good last night, too.
Getting Floresville, and you know, I listened to it a little bit, but you know, the action is hard to pick up. What were the Panthers doing? They looked really good from what you could see, but just listening to you, it looked like there was really not any doubt who was going to win that game because it sounded from you like the Panthers came out with a lot of enthusiasm.
There was a lot of enthusiasm. What helped, too, I think, Maury, last night is the homestands were full. I mean, there was not much room left.
There was a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people supporting them. They're getting their plays down. They're getting their passing and their sets are getting a lot crisper right now. And if your passes and sets can be crisp, it's going to allow you to set up your hitters. And we had some huge hits last night by the front row. Kyla Solis, to me, probably had her best game hitting last night. I mean, she really brought the ball down against Floresville last night, so it looked really good. And I mean, that's going to be the key. You know, if we can continue to get the passes and sets for the front row, then we're going to look good. And the other great thing was the front row is blocking. You get to block those balls. We got a lot of points by blocking and keeping the ball on the opposite side of the net and falling to the floor. So it was a great game to watch. They were pretty much the first couple of sets stayed pretty tight where we went back and forth, but about halfway through each set, Medina Valley took control and handily beat them.
Yeah, they separated themselves when they needed to.
Yep.
You know, the closer it got to 20, the more separation you got. And I agree, Dwayne. That's why Kyla Solis was our player of the game. She came and she dominated. And she's a big girl. She's a tall girl. And she should dominate games like that. And she really did it last night. And
she did her job.
Looking forward to watching more of the games, too, and being able to broadcast more of the games.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you want to talk a bit about you want to go through the picks first? You want to talk about Medina Valley and Champion first?
Let's talk about Medina Valley and Champion.
Right.
Not sure. I missed the first part of it. I listened to a little bit while I was on my concession duty.
It was Coach Little Mo was really excited. The players that were here, we had 3 defensive backs and one of the linebackers. and probably the most talkative group
Yeah.
that we've had so far. Each one of them talked with an exude confidence. And
Was Tanner right here?
Absolutely.
And he was talking?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Tanner did a good job,
yeah,
too.
all of them did it, and it sounds like,
They still have
sounds
confidence.
like they're ready to play. That their confidence level is still there.
The thing is, that then the defense should have a lot of confidence because they played very well to this point. I mean, you held Waco La Vega to 28 points. They're a team that puts 50 on a lot of opponents. 7 against Bernie, 14 against Hondo, and only 10 points the defense gave up against Lockhart. The defense has played very, very well this season.
Well, they have played well, and a lot of pressure right now is put on the defensive backs. But it's hard to do when you play spread offenses. When they got good quarterbacks and good receivers, they're going to get some passes complete. They're going to score some touchdowns, but they got to stay confident back there and keep playing hard because there's another play right next to you that's going to happen. So
Well, and they're going to get a test this week because Boyer is a very good quarterback.
Boyer is pretty good, but he is playing not at 100%. He did play last week, and from what I understand, and some of my coaches that I've talked to said that he was not 100% last week against Kerrville-Tivy. So if you can get to him early, put some heat on him, make him, flush him out of the pocket, don't let him get comfortable, is going to be a key to this game.
Well, and last year, if you remember, Boyer by himself kept Bernie Champion in that game running the football in the second half. That's all they could do offensively.
Well, and Jeff said he's not 100%, but the ironic part is the picture in the paper showed him outrunning the Kerrville-Tivy defense for a touchdown. So
well, his
he may
100%,
not be 100%, but he may be 95.
his 80 to 95% is better than a lot of people's 100%. So he,
The young man is a class act.
He is. He's a good quarterback. He's a good athlete. I mean, we're going to have our work cut out for us. I think this is, for right now, this would probably be the defense's biggest test since Waco La Vega.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. And if you look at what the last couple of years, the way the schedule's set up, Champions started 0-2 the last couple of seasons.
The last 2 years.
Losing to Tivy and then Medina Valley. And we talked about how they have this game circled. They do not want to start 0-2 again, so this is going to be a tough matchup. They're coming more ready to play.
And it's at their place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been at Medina Valley the last 2 years.
They've definitely got it circled on the calendar. This is a game they do not want to lose, and they can afford. They're like everyone else in our district. They cannot afford to lose many games.
Right. You're right.
And Dwayne, you have a young man, Garrison, who was our intern last year. This year he cannot be because he's out there on the field on Friday nights. You actually have a young man that can feel the pulse of the team. What is his confidence level going into this week? What is his temperature?
Well, I mean, you're coming off a loss. A loss probably you shouldn't have had. But I know they know that they're a better team than that. So I think they're as of right now the confidence level is still high, and I think you can tell by the boys that are sitting here. They know that they can win this game. They've proved it in the past, especially the kids that played already last year. They know they can beat them. So I think the confidence level is still there, and I think the coaches are still pushing them that we're okay. We're okay. We just got to get out there and play and limit mistakes.
Well, if you think a play here or there, and they could easily be 3-1.
Absolutely.
Well, number one thing is, guys, you're still in control of your own destiny.
Right.
You still, despite your loss to Lockhart, you can take care of you. And that's what, Coach Crisp has emphasized. That's what a lot of football coaches say. As long as we can take care of us, we're going to be okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, you saw the scores last week in district play. Really, to me, the only surprise was the Medina Valley score. Nothing else surprised me.
I was surprised Memorial
beating Uvalde?
That didn't surprise me when you play Memorial at home because, as we said during the broadcast, they always bring a crowd. They're fired up. It does not matter. That is a team that has had a losing history, but still, when you go play Memorial at their home stadium, the crowd is full. The crowd is cheering, and it doesn't matter because football is their only outlet.
I want
give it 100%.
I want you to say that same stuff to some Uvalde people. Uvalde people didn't expect to lose to Memorial.
Well,
I'm telling you right now, I did not expect Uvalde to lose to Memorial, especially
that may be
the
why
way they
lost,
played
though.
early. They went in overconfident. But with you saying that, Maury, here's the next thing. There's going to be some more upsets.
Oh,
and if
sure.
you're Medina Valley going forward, hey, you never know what's going to happen. You've got a whole season to play still.
And moving forward, and that you bring up a good point right there. They cannot look forward right now because they have open the next week, and then they have a slightly lighter schedule for a couple of games. That they just can't be thinking that right now.
Yeah, but yes and no. But you got to
Forward
understand
to taking a week off. They can't look forward to that.
Lockhart is going to lose a game they're not supposed to, or they could win a game they're not supposed to. Winning a game they're not supposed to may not be a good thing for Medina Valley, but losing a game could be. And you can't worry about what everybody else is doing because, like I said, you're in control of your own destiny. Take care of you.
Yeah, I mean, in this district, you're going to lose some games. I mean, anybody, especially the top four, can beat anybody any given day.
Well, and nobody really knows nobody knows how good Alamo Heights is still.
That's the thing. I mean, they played Kennedy and beat them, but they started 0-3. And so, yeah, you don't really know what they're going to show until they play a team that, like a Tivy or a Champion or Medina Valley.
And also, Jared, injuries happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Injuries will happen throughout the course of the season.
Do we know what the schedule is for this week? Who plays who? Do the other powers play each other?
I got it right here.
Jared's going to look it up. But, there's no doubt that we're probably going to get out-athleted in a couple of games. Okay? And the thing is, we're not going to get out-hearted. And we cannot get out-hearted. Our heart has got to be bigger than everybody else's. And if you talk to the loyalists around Medina Valley, what has always Medina Valley played on? I wrote an article this week.
Pride.
I wrote an article this week with the Castroville Anvil, and we talked about Medina Valley teams of the past. And what Medina Valley was known for is we're going to play with heart, we're going to play the full game, and we're going to hit you in the mouth. And for a half and for one drive, almost completed, we played that way. That was a Medina Valley team of the past. And in the preview edition, we talked about Coach Crisp said that's what he wanted to bring back to Medina Valley. He wants to bring back what we used to have here. When people feared the orange and black when they walked out on the field, because they knew they were going to get hit in the mouth.
The uniforms.
The uniforms, I mean, they feared us when we walked out onto the field. And for a half, Medina Valley was there. And so the positives taking out of last week was we played like that for a half. Can we start putting it together?
For a whole game, yeah.
Keep putting that together. Bring back the Medina Valley. We need to get some of these older gentlemen in here, and we need to talk about it. We need to have those high school kids need to be here listening. They need to hear some of this stuff from the past that, the pride that people played with. And I'm talking about, everybody brings up 1984. That's the obvious one. But I'm talking about 1985 when they lost in the third round to, was it Refugio? Talking about teams that lost to
go a couple
great
of years
teams.
Before 84.
82. Yeah. 82 they had a great team. I mean, there's,
in 83 they got beat by Sweeney, who they beat the next year to go play Dangerfield.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
7-3.
Yeah.
And we're talking, 3A versus 4A, but you know what? It's all relative. Because right now it's relative. Our enrollment's up, but we've got to bring that tradition back. We've got to get behind these kids. We've got to get behind these coaches. I don't care who it is, where it is, who, what, where, when, why, how. We're still here, and Medina Valley is still here, and we're going to be here. And those young ones need to understand what their grandparents did, what their parents did. They need to understand what the tradition is. We live and die orange and black. That's why we're here.
And I got the schedule pulled up for the district this week. And
let's pick the games.
Yeah. You got Kerrville Tivy at Kennedy.
Tivy?
That's a no-brainer.
What was the game?
Tivy at Kennedy.
Why do you even pick that game? We can't pick that game.
Well, I'm going through.
Okay. I was going to say, we're not picking that one.
It's just the games in the district.
Okay.
The spread is 60.
Yeah, so you and then you got Alamo Heights at Uvalde.
Ooh, now I'm anxious to see that one.
You play at the Honey Bowl.
You never know.
You never know.
And then after that,
Twilight
you've got Memorial at Lockhart.
There you go. That's another interesting game.
That's another interesting
game.
Yeah,
with Memorial beating Uvalde.
Right.
They're going to be on a high.
Yeah,
they're going to.
Well, so is Lockhart.
They feel good about themselves.
And then the last one is probably the game of the week in the district. You have Medina Valley at Champion. And so
I hope it's the game of the week.
It should be. Looking at that, I feel like it should be. But I just feel like it's for what we've seen from them the last couple of years. I just feel like competitively that's the closest match game in the district.
And Jared, you're not going to be there, but I know you're going to be paying attention.
He's probably going to be listening.
Will you tell everybody in the listening audience now what the big occasion is that you have to miss a high school football game?
Yeah, so my rehearsal dinner's tomorrow Friday night
what? Rehearsal
for my
what?
wedding.
Oh,
communist.
And so I actually asked my fiance, or when we planned this, if we could do the rehearsal on Thursday night so that I could do the football game still, and she did not like
that probably
idea
didn't go over
at
well.
all. She made an awful face at me, and I was like, well, I had to throw that out there.
And she's at all of our games, too.
Yes, she is. She's one of the biggest supporters.
She's a Bernie champion implant here. Yep.
Ooh.
And, hey, last year she was rooting for Medina Valley in the press box against Champion.
I remember that.
Yep.
So
well, we'll give you a pass this week.
And before we bid adieu later on, I want to wish you wedding bliss.
Good
and
luck.
I will be there at the wedding supporting you and supporting Shannon. And you know what? She couldn't have picked a better guy.
I'm glad you say that.
Hey, wait a minute. You didn't say that when I got married.
I was waiting for you couldn't have picked a better girl.
I'll say
thank
that.
you. I appreciate that. And, I unfortunately will miss the game,
So
but
who's
it's for
gonna-
a good reason.
Who's going to fill in for you, Jared?
Well, Maury and Jeff are going to be doing the game. From what,
And it's going to be dynamite.
You want me to go ahead and fill in for him then? You want me to take his place then? I'm available, more if you need help. It'll be like wrestling. He'll tag team me up at the press box.
I promise I will not say
We'll
anything.
be the Hart Foundation.
I will not say anything about a nasty slot.
Because all that is in baseball, a nasty slide.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, keys to the game. We'll talk a little bit more about champion keys to the game. And you know what? Coach Little Mo sat right there where Jeff's sitting. And that is going to determine the ball game, the turnovers. If we can win the turnover battle.
Well, that's interesting because we haven't.
We
yet.
haven't.
Yeah.
And if you can remember, Medina Valley was going in to take a 2-score lead. Turnover, 80 yards later, Medina Valley did not recover really that much from Lockhart. So
no, and Bernie had the same thing. I think with that fumble towards the end there, down deep in our territory, or their territory. I mean that was the difference there. We've got to win the turnover battle.
Special teams.
Well, that changed the momentum of the game, and that just shows you how a turnover can change a ball game.
Absolutely.
I'm saying special teams is what we need to win.
I'm saying don't let Boyers get comfortable. Keep him moving. Don't let him throw when he wants to throw. Make him throw when you want him to throw. I think Big Mo and Little Mo have, the last 2 years they've come up with a scheme to stop him, and I think they're going to be, able to do that again this year. The only problem I see is how long are they going to be on the field?
Yeah.
Our defense cannot be on the field all night.
Well,
We've got to have the offense moving the ball.
The defense is going to be the defense that they've always been. They're going to play well like they always do. I can count on the defense.
But they do get tired, and because it's just a fact of the game.
My key to the game is going to be the passing game. We've got to complete more passes, and we've got to get first downs, and we got to drive the ball.
We got to catch the ball.
We don't have to hit home runs.
We got to catch the ball when it's thrown.
If y'all can remember, and Jared and I talked about this, if y'all can remember the crispest, and I say that crisp because Lee Crisp, but the crispest that we have looked was in the fourth quarter when we dinked and dunked Waco La Vega all the way down the field and scored all the way down the field. Just Charlie Marsh would take 2 steps and hit a 5-yarder.
That's true, but they were also in a zone defense. Lockhart last week played us straight man-to-man. And how do you get them out of that man-to-man defense?
You throw deep.
No, you run the ball.
You got to get them off the line.
You've got to run the ball to get them to get out of their
Well, the bad
stuff.
thing is they tried to run the ball, and it wasn't as successful as what they probably would have liked.
And you're
it to
right,
be.
though. I mean, you've got to throw the ball. If they're going to go man-to-man coverage, you got to be able to beat them. You got to be able to throw the ball deep every so often, but you got to also complete those passes. We had 2 to 3 passes dropped for first downs. Those are drive killers. Those are season killers. Those are game killers.
Well, and that is, when we were doing that chart work, that is just a a leg up from your running game because it's possession passing.
Well,
I mean, 2 or 3 yards down the field, it's basically a run play.
And by doing that,
doing
that, you open up the long pass.
Well, and then I like what we're doing. We're trying to mix it up. I think we're balanced on passing and running and some deep threats, but we got to be as successful in the passing game as we have been in the running game.
The first down of the year was a ball thrown 5 yards down the field to your son for a first down, and you know we've kind of shied away from it a little bit because we've been too spoiled on number 45 just pounding and pounding and pounding. Well, the teams are going to figure that out a little bit, and they're not going to let number 45.
Especially when they don't have the same number of blockers in front of him that
Yeah,
they had in the past.
but we saw something last week, though, that kind of opened some eyes, too.
We saw James Gibson get hit pretty hard.
No, we saw number 13
saw Caden Hernandez
carry
run
the ball
well.
from the tailback position, which he hasn't done, and looked pretty darn good. So I'm expecting, hopefully, maybe he can get a few more carries. And use James in a different type. Put James at fullback.
I have two
Dot
keys.
the I with Hernandez.
I have two keys to the game. The first one is we've seen Medina Valley move the ball between the 20-yard lines, and they've stalled out or done something to. You got to finish your drive.
Execution.
Absolutely have to finish your drives. You can't just move the ball and eat 5 minutes off the clock and not get anything out of it. The second key is that you have got to stop taking points off the board with penalties. Because we saw it twice against Hondo, we saw it once against Lockhart.
Oh, yeah, you're
with
right.
Leslie Pardo, you have got to
Leslie
stop
Pardo's
taking
runs.
points off the board
True
with
that.
penalties.
That's
3
true.
touchdowns
But-
in the last 2 games have been taken away
But
from
we
number
did
23.
a positive. We only had 4 penalties in the game.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
so
right.
we did
They-
have a positive.
They cleaned that up a
Let's
lot.
go ahead and
Well,
Jared,
Dwayne
Jared, we need to
wanted
move on to
say-
picks.
You wanted to
Yep.
say we didn't get to you.
No, he said his key.
My key is going to be the passing game.
Short.
All right.
Yep.
Extend the run with the short
Extend the
pass.
runs. We do a good
How
job.
about, hey, since we're on it, scores.
All right, so we'll finish up the talk show here. We'll talk scores.
I'm gonna say 35-7, but I'm not gonna say what team.
Well, I tell you what, we all struck out last week. You say 35-7.
No, we didn't strike out. I got 14-13. I was pretty darn close.
You were close, but still struck out. They hit swing and a miss.
I have.
You fouled off a couple though.
I have 13-10, Medina Valley.
Jared, 21-20.
You know, Jared, I'm saying the exact same score. I will say the exact same score. That's what I was thinking. Are we all in favor of MV?
I am.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jeff?
I was told if I wasn't, I was fired.
Can
So
I
does
can I
that- does
change
that
my
go
score?
Does that go for you too? All right, we got.
I've got. Let me see. I've got a low scoring game. Warriors goes down in the first quarter. I've got
No, I do never want
8-6.
injury to determine a game.
8-6.
8-6.
All right, we'll change that one from 8-6 from
13-10.
37-7. All right.
Hey, I'm a defensive guy.
There we got them. We'll talk about them next week. Let's go to college picks.
Yeah, go
Texas
ahead.
Tech.
Okay, so let's real quick. Let's get an update.
Texas Tech.
2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, you didn't have our paper
Yeah,
last
so
week.
2 weeks ago, I was 9-4 on my picks. Maury was 9-4 in his picks. Jared 8-5 and Jeff 8-5. So not a bad job that first week of predictions for us.
We would have made money in Vegas.
And we'll go to this week. We'll start from the bottom up. Mr. Maury
Oh.
Stein was 2-7.
Ooh, cellar dweller.
Man.
And then Jeff next one up at 4-5.
What?
Jared at 4-5 also. So that's 2 weeks in a row you tied someone. And then I was the top of the list at 6-3. And I
And
picked
Dwayne keeps the stats so he can change anytime.
they're right here in front of you. The key, gentlemen, was the Texas State win over Georgia
No,
State
that
that y'all went against.
Wait a minute. Didn't I take Georgia State?
No.
I mean,
no.
Texas State?
No,
I
the
thought I
key
did.
was that you were the only one who picked Tulane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Daner Hogelson goes brain dead in the
I
second
did
half.
pick
Oh,
Tulane.
Forgets how
God.
to
I did
keep
pick
control
Tulane.
of the ball.
All right, let's just do a couple real quick.
Texas Tech.
Let's pick 5. Number 6, Oklahoma versus Texas Tech, 7-point underdogs, Tech is.
OU by 40.
So Jeff
Texas
going with
Tech has 2
Jared.
rookie quarterbacks.
I'll take Oklahoma to cover
Not
the
a rookie.
27.
A Wookiee.
Jared, I'm going to say here. Maury, you're going to go with the Okies?
No doubt.
I am too. A&M, ranked number 23 this week.
A&M.
23.5
Oh,
for
God.
Arkansas.
They're going to score 50.
Kellen Mond's the quarterback.
Well, okay, 45.
I'm taking Arkansas. I'm not laying that many points.
Wait, who are we got again?
A&M 23.5 over Arkansas.
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 I got A&M.
The Razorbacks.
I hate rooting for them, but I got them this week. Because this may be the only game they win for a while.
Dwayne, you ain't said who you want.
I'm going to have to go with the Aggies.
Okay.
I really am.
That's a good one right there.
Out of Texas game real quick. Number 18, Virginia at 4-0 already. Virginia 4-0, ranked number 18, playing number 10, Notre Dame at 2-1. Notre Dame favored by 12.5.
Virginia. And Brian Kelly gets fired on the 50-yard line after the ball game. That's what should happen.
I got Notre Dame.
Irish cover. Easy.
Yeah, I think so, too.
All right, another out-of-state one. It's going to be a high-profile game. Number 21 now. USC moved into the top 25.
Wow.
With a loss.
No, they won.
No, they won.
No, they've lost a game, though.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I mean with
Actually,
one loss.
I think they were
But they've
25th.
they've got Graham Harrell calling their plays.
So number 21 USC against number
doesn't matter.
17 Washington. Not Washington State, but Washington.
Washington's going to blow them out, win by 30.
10-point favorites, Washington.
USC straight up.
Wazoo.
No, not Wazoo. Washington.
Washington. Huskies.
The Huskies.
Yeah.
In a rout.
And what's the line?
10. Washington's favored.
Oh.
I got USC.
I can't. Yeah, USC covers that.
Never.
I hate the Trojans
Never.
so much.
The only thing they got good is those sweaters.
All right.
Woo, those cheerleaders are pretty.
They're from
Number,
California.
no Texas this week, right?
Who?
No Texas this
Nope.
week. Okay.
Who?
No, we got to go this one for
Baylor. and-
Shannon, for Jared's
All right.
fiance here.
Baylor versus Iowa State. Iowa State -3.
I got to go with Iowa State.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with
Where is
Baylor.
that at?
Yeah,
Iowa State.
That's up
Oh,
in
it is.
Ames, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's
It's
a
only
rough
3.
one.
Jeff.
It's only 3 points.
I'll take Baylor for Shannon, just for her, but that's a tough game
You're
up
falling
there.
on the sword already.
Yep,
and you
you're
ain't
already
even
doing
married.
it. Already.
Well, it's the wedding week.
Maury?
I figure I can be
The
nice.
Cyclones.
You can take the Cyclones?
Yep.
Once we're married, I
You
can
know
say
what?
whatever I want.
I'm going to go with Baylor.
Well, let's do the other one right away in the Big 12.
Okay, so the last one,
Last
the Big
one.
12, Oklahoma State -4.5 over ranked number 24, Kansas State.
I hate Manhattan, Kansas.
So Kansas State.
So does Texas.
Yeah.
Kansas State ranked 24th, but they're not favored. Oklahoma State is favored by 4.5.
I almost
Cowboys.
gotta go
I think-
with. I almost got to go with Kansas State.
What's
in
the
that
line
one.
again?
4.5.
Kansas State.
Okay,
I think it's going to be a
I'm
close
going-
game.
All right, and the one personally for me, Texas State playing FCS Nicholls State. Nicholls State favored by 3.5.
Oh my god!
Really? To an FCS team?
That's embarrassing.
I'm going to go with Texas State. I think they can easily win this game.
What is Nicholls State's mascot? A quarter?
The Colonels.
Colonels.
The
Oh, I
Colonels.
thought it was a quarter.
Oh.
I'll take the Colonels. Sanders.
Oh.
Rudy too.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and take Texas
I'll
State.
take the Bobcats on that one.
Ah,
Jared
you're
and
going
Jeff.
out on a big limb.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for this week.
Hey, you got an
No,
FCS
we got
game.
more.
How about Sam Houston State blowing out Incarnate Word?
Oh my
mean,
god! How about UTSA
How about
getting
UTSA
blown
laying
out?
By
an
North
egg against
Texas?
North Texas.
UTSA's getting worse every week. It's time for Frank Wilson to move on.
And I think North Texas is playing somebody this week that they're playing a pretty good team this week, and I think they're an underdog against
North
somebody.
Texas can score points. They're running the spread offense. You know, they're running that run and shoot.
They
kinda
do
deal.
have a good team this year.
What about? Oh, they're playing Houston,
That's right.
Yeah,
It's
they
right
are.
there.
There it is. Yeah.
and they're a 7-point favorite. I got to
Yeah,
take
that's what I was
Houston
gonna
in that
say.
game. I'm taking Houston.
Oh, they're playing the Cougars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
at North Texas.
In Denton. Yeah.
I got to, what? Dana Holgerson is a good coach. He did have a brain fart the other night, but.
Can you say that on the radio?
Brain fart?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Maury, who do you got? UNT, Houston, -7 UNT.
If they can beat UTSA, they can beat anybody.
Hey, well, look at Houston, who they just lost to.
Yeah, Tulane, who Dwayne just
the Green Wave, who decided to wear blue. They were wearing
powder
Brent,
blue.
Yeah, they were wearing Brent's shirt over there.
Powder blue they were wearing. All right, there you have it.
All right.
Well, another week down with Sports for Supper. I'd like to thank Brenda Stein Photography for bringing this to you, and also Sammy's Restaurant for letting us do these broadcasts.
Did you
from
go over
here.
your specials, Maury?
No.
Oh, no.
Wednesday special?
Wednesday special is always the chicken fried steak. And the weekly special this week is the cod or catfish, all week long, available after 5 o'clock. So there you go.
It's not even Lent yet.
And you know what the big thing was? Chicken and dumplings was Monday, and we actually had some.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. I never pass up chicken and dumplings, ever. Before we say goodnight, I want to wish Jared wedding bliss. Hope
Absolutely.
him and Shannon have a wonderful life together. And my buddy,
Yeah.
I love you, and I love Shannon, and I hope y'all
Thank you, Maury.
have a great wedding.
And Maury and Jeff will be bringing you the game Friday night, and then the next week's the bye, so we won't have a show next week either, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, we will not have a show on for Sports for Supper because of the bye week with the football game. And then we'll be back the next week. And I think, are y'all doing any volleyball next week?
Yes.
Tuesday.
In
Yep.
New Valley.
Yep.
Tune in.
I think so. I think that's what I had. Don't quote me on that, but we'll do a game next week, one way or the
forward
other.
to it.
Yep.
Yeah, Dwayne does a great job with the game. I've told him last night I feel like Bob Euchre's assistant up there because it's not that Dwayne talks all the time, but it's so fast. There's so much going on. You can't ever get 2 cents in.
The hardest
Yep.
game to ever broadcast. I tried one, and you know what? I'm glad Dwayne has stepped in and done it because it is too hard for me.
He may be asking for a raise next year.
It's getting easier, so it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it, and
You make it worthwhile, Dwayne.
yeah, well, let's hope they continue on their winning ways.
Absolutely, and we'll see y'all on Friday night. You can tune in at around 7:10, 7:15 will be airtime. Kickoff is at 7:30 in Bernie. Bernie Champion taking on Medina Valley. For Jeff, Dwayne, and Maury, I'm Jared Lucky saying good night, God bless, and we'll see you next time when Panther Sports continues.